Predictability is the key to a secure future. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to create predictable rates of return, predictable safety, and security on your hard-earned money so you don't lose and you will not outlive your money. So I'm Doug Andrew. I have been a financial strategist for more than 45 years, helping people optimize their financial assets so they won't outlive their money as a retirement planning specialist. And I'm going to share with you a secret that I learned from one of my mentors, Marshall Thurber, who was also mentored by Buckminster Fuller and Dr. Edwards Deming. And they taught him, and he in turn taught me, that management of anything in life in one word is predictability. So many times I have taught how to create predictable results. When I go on my radio show, I tweak my radio show to create predictable results so that the right fit people that I can help the most will take action. They'll learn, they'll come to a live seminar. Maybe they'll do my online learning management systematic way to prepare for retirement. They may read one of our books or listen or watch our master classes, but it's all based upon predictability, that if you put this much wood in the fire, so to speak, you will predictably know you'll get this many BTUs of heat back in 20 minutes. We want to create predictability. If you don't learn how to do this, many people in business go bankrupt because they don't know how to create predictable results. When we talk about predictability, I like to use a little exercise to help people understand what I'm talking about, because this was a game-changing principle for me. I want it to be for you. So let's see how good you are with simple math. Are you ready? I'm going to need your undivided attention here. I want you to think, and I want to see how good you are with math. You ready? So I want you to pick a number in your head between 1 and 10, a whole number between 1 and 10. Have you got the number? Okay, here we go. Take that number between 1 and 10 and double it. Okay, now you have a new number. Now add 8 to that number. Now you have a new number. Now divide that number in half, okay? Now subtract the original number you started out with from that last number. You got it? Have you got a final number in your head? Let's check your math. You picked a number between 1 and 10. You doubled it, then you added 8, then you divided by 2, and then you subtracted the original number you started out with from that last number. So you should have a final number in your head. I want you to take that final number that you arrived at and pick the corresponding letter of the alphabet that that number represents. So if your last number ended up being 1, that would be the letter A. 2 would be the letter B. 3 would be C. If your last number was 4, that would be the letter D. 5 would be E. Okay. Have you got the letter of the alphabet that your last number in that math equation represents? Okay. Take that letter of the alphabet and pick a country whose name starts with that letter. I want you to use the American name for the country, and let's do it in Europe or the Baltics, okay? So it's going to be towards the beginning of the alphabet, most likely. So A might be Austria, B, Belgium, C, Czech Republic, D, Denmark, E, England or Estonia, F, France, G, Germany, H, Hungary, I, Italy or Ireland. Have you got a country that starts with your letter in Europe or the Baltics? Take the country you arrived at that starts with the letter and take the last letter in the name of the country you chose. The last letter in the name of that country, and pick a zoo animal that starts with that letter, okay? An animal that's maybe not indigenous to the United States, but you would probably find in a zoo here. So you've got a country and you've got a zoo animal. Well, let's take the last letter in the name of that zoo animal and pick a common fruit that's name starts with that letter. So take the animal you arrived at, take the last letter, and pick a common fruit that starts with that one. So you should have a country, a zoo animal, and a fruit. I know what about 85% of you came up with. Denmark, kangaroo, orange. Is that what you thought of? Maybe if you didn't, if you did, you're like 85% of people. If you came up with Denmark, koala, apple, you're unique. You maybe came up with kiwi. But folks, it's very predictable. 80 to 90% of people will come up with Denmark, kangaroo, orange. And sometimes people don't get it. Figure it out. Okay, when you do the math, if you pick a number between 1 and 10 and you double it, add 8, divide by 2, and subtract the original number, your answer will always be 4. If you didn't get 4, you need to brush up on your math, okay? So maybe people don't do their math right. They didn't understand me or something. And so there's a small percent that may not end up with 4, and so they won't come up with the same thing. But if you did your math right, 4, that's the letter D in the alphabet. There's only one country in Europe or the Baltics that starts with D. You can't say Deutschland because I said the American name. And then the last letter in Denmark is K. Most people think kangaroo, maybe koala, maybe kiwi, a kiwi bird. But if you chose kangaroo, then the last letter of that is O, which is orange. If it's koala, that's apple. But what I create by doing that little exercise is predictability. And so Denmark, kangaroo, orange, predictably, I want to have my money in a place where I can earn predictable rates of return. It's predictably safe from market crashes. It is predictably tax-free because predictability is everything, especially when you're retiring. If I want to create predictability with my children, I wrote a book called Entitlement Abolition. And if I want to predictably make sure that they don't adopt an entitlement mentality, hey, Dad, will you pay for it? Can I have? When do I get my share? If you want to predictably abolish entitlement mindset, I teach how to do that in the book. But folks, it doesn't work 100% of the time, just like that exercise doesn't work 100% of the time, but it's 85 to 90%, and those are pretty good odds. So let me connect the dots and show you why this is so important with your money. So when it comes to money, what I want is predictability. I want to earn predictable rates of return. And most people go, well, how can you do that? Because most people have their money in the market in yet to be taxed IRAs and 401ks. Let me tell you how predictable that is. You're going to be taxed at retirement at a higher rate, most likely. And people go, what? No, I did this because I thought predictably I was going to be in a lower bracket. That's what everybody told me. No. That has not been true for more than 25 years. So I put my serious cash into tax-free vehicles, not tax-deferred, because I want to know predictably that I'm immune from taxes going up. I'm immune from market crashes or market volatility. So I use indexing strategies inside my favorite vehicle, which I call the laser fund. And so when I put my money into the laser fund, I can predictably be able to access money when I need it with an electronic funds transfer phone call. There's no penalties by the IRS. It's very predictably liquid. Number 2, it is predictably safe. When the market goes down, I don't lose because my money's not in the market. But when the market goes up, I get to participate because my money is linked to the market, but not in the market. That's called indexing. And I teach that in my various books. In the next episode that's going to show up here, I want you to watch that to see how you can do that. But see, I want that Denmark kangaroo orange predictability that I won't lose and that I'll make a rate of return averaging 8 to 10%. I've been doing this for over 45 years. 45 years, I've averaged 8.2%. When indexing came around in 1997, it nudged up to 10.07 average for the last 25 years. Denmark, kangaroo, orange predictably. And it's tax-free, predictably, because it's been a sacred cow in the Internal Revenue Code for over 100 years in 3 sections of the code that make the laser fund this sacred cow. And so predictability is everything. It means that every $1 million Denmark Kangaroo Orange will generate 80 to 100,000 a year of tax-free income into perpetuity, predictably, versus an IRA or 401k that predictably, if it's in the market, you'll be lucky to be able to pull out 4% a year based upon financial services industry standards and recommendations. $1 million only generating 40,000, but after tax and fees, you're only netting 20,000. What would you rather have? 20,000 predictably or 80,000 predictably? How much more is 80 than 20? It's called 400%. It's 4 times as much money. I hope you're getting it. If you want to learn more, click on this episode and watch how the Laser Fund creates that kind of Denmark Kangaroo Orange predictability with your money. And it passes the liquidity, safety, and rate of return test with flying colors, and it's tax-free to boot.